Hello, welcome back to our YouTube channel today. I'm thrilled to take you on an action comedy movie from 2023 called The Family Plan.
This married couple was kissing when a group of hoodlums nearby began smirking and snapped photos of them, taking more than one picture. When Danny noticed, he immediately spoke up to stop them, saying it was a private moment between him and his wife and asked them to delete the photos. Unexpectedly, the hoodlums directly refused. Danny wanted to walk over and ask them about it, but as soon as he stepped forward, the hoodlums provocatively posted the photos on a social media platform. His wife told him not to engage with the hoodlums, but Danny stared fixedly at them and wouldn't budge. His wife desperately hoped her husband could be more tough, but the next second, that hope turned into wishful thinking. Even with such insults, Danny ultimately still held himself back. When he got home, he kept rinsing his body with cold water, thinking he could get over it that way. But when he lay in bed, the humiliating scene from earlier kept flashing through his mind. The next day, his wife Jessie took out all her frustration on a punching bag. Feeling unsatisfied, she threw a punch at the gym owner. Nikki's face. Unexpectedly, Nikki was not angry at all, and even listened to Jessie. Jessie naturally vented all her dissatisfaction. She said Danny was a family man who doted on her and their 3 children, but she felt as if she was stuck in a quagmire, with no fun besides Thursday nights, because Danny was not manly at all, and even a homebody. However, she did not know that before their marriage, her husband was actually a very ruthless character. For the past 18 years, he had kept himself in check, supporting the family by selling used cars, being both father and mother, earning money and caring for the family. Yesterday, he had wanted to accompany his wife to properly celebrate their 18th anniversary, but their mood was ruined by those punks. However, he did not know the wheel of fate had already begun turning silently at that moment. The next day, Danny took his son to the supermarket to buy diapers. Just as he opened the refrigerator door, a man walked towards him. He immediately realized what was happening. In the next second, Danny tried to negotiate with the man to let him put his child down first, but the man showed no mercy and quickly attacked. However, even in this situation, the assassin couldn't gain any advantage. This scene left the neighbor stunned. The assassin made a sprint and threw him out. When he got up, he was furious and started throwing canned goods. When he felt the distance was enough, he kicked and then performed a spinning kick. The neighbor was completely bewildered. But this wasn't the end. The assassin fainted on the spot, and Danny calmly picked up the diapers from the floor. Ignoring the bewildered look of the cashier, he swaggered out of the supermarket. Then, driving at 200 miles per hour, he returned home. When he got out of the car, his neighbors were petrified. He didn't care and quickly pressed a hidden button on the staircase wall, revealing a concealed compartment containing a bag that had been sealed for 18 years. Inside were several pistols and many passports from other countries, but upon inspection, he found they were expired. He had no choice but to take out 2 large bags of dollars from the hidden compartment. He immediately called his long-lost friend Nick. Nick was surprised to hear from him, but before Danny could explain, he needed Nick's help to change their identities. After quickly packing, he found his wife and 3 children. When he told his wife that they were going on a trip to Las Vegas, she was a bit confused. It was all so sudden. Danny explained that they would visit the Eiffel Tower and attend an Adele concert together. Suddenly, Danny saw a black van downstairs. He realized they had to leave immediately. He quickly tricked his wife into the car. But just as they reached the parking lot exit, he noticed the assassins in the van were watching them intently. A bus arrived, and once the assassins left, Danny quickly drove the car in the opposite direction. The situation seemed like Danny would shake them off, but the next moment the black van caught up again. Then, with a sudden burst of speed, it surged towards his side. Danny quickly jerked the steering wheel and veered the car into another small road. But before he could finish his sentence, he realized he hadn't lost the van. He immediately sensed something was wrong. So, he took his family to the car dealership where he worked. Using a remote control, he opened the gate and drove the car inside. The van attempted to follow but was stopped by the gate. The driver then headed towards the service area. Soon, Danny drove the car into the company's repair shop. With his family looking bewildered, he pretended to inspect the car and raised it up. Quickly, he found a real-time tracking device attached to the chassis. Seeing this, he hurriedly removed it and found a colleague who loved showing off. Upon learning that the colleague was going to drive his newly bought sports car for a joyride, Danny immediately installed the tracking device on his colleague's car. He offered to cover any fines incurred. The colleague hit the accelerator and sped off, finally losing the assassin's pursuit. Soon, the family drove towards Las Vegas. However, not long after they set off, Danny's wife wanted to post on social media. Danny sternly stopped them and confiscated everyone's phones. Then he threw all 4 phones into the river. His peculiar actions left the 3 of them utterly bewildered. Danny explained that this would bring them closer together. Though they were far from satisfied with his explanation, they couldn't help but feel relieved. Meanwhile, McCaffrey from Nick's mouth had appeared at Danny's home. Upon seeing the family photo of their family of 5, McCaffrey was furious and immediately ordered his hacker subordinates to find their whereabouts no matter what. The hacker said he had tracked the social media accounts of Danny's family members, but found nothing. Clearly, they had turned off their phones. Time came tonight. Danny's family had fallen into deep sleep, while he was miserably stifling yawns there. But soon he became spirited, because he knew McCaffrey's people had found him. Soon these assassins quickly chased after them on motorcycles. Unexpectedly, Danny didn't panic at all when he saw them. He just connected the car music to headphones, took out a gun, and attached a silencer. Right after he turned up the headphone volume, the assassins caught up. Seizing the opportunity, he raised his hand and fired 2 shots, instantly paralyzing the assassin's arm. His young son quickly clapped and cheered. Just then, one assassin had come up on his side, about to open fire, but Danny struck first, dragging him off the motorcycle directly. In the tussle, the assassin slapped Danny's gun away. Seeing this, his son quickly handed Dad a baby bottle, and Dad shoved it into the helmet and fiercely headbutted. Soon the last assassin caught up too. Seeing this, Danny directly rushed him, and the assassin instantly lost balance. At this point, his wife woke up, and Danny just explained they hit a big pothole. They continued on their way the next day, with daughter Nina taking the wheel today. On the road, Danny asked what she wanted for her 18th birthday gift. Nina didn't hesitate to say she wanted her own car. The rest of their journey went fairly smoothly, with no difficult obstacles or assassins chasing them. By now, they were getting closer and closer to Las Vegas. Seeing it was late and it was Thursday, the family of 5 found another hotel to stay in. No matter how close Las Vegas was, they couldn't give up this habit they'd kept for 18 years. The next scenes were quite brutal, so I've chosen to endure them alone, nourished by love. Wife Jessie was extremely excited because she'd fantasized for years about coming to Las Vegas with her husband, and now her wish had come true. To make his wife even happier, Danny specially booked a luxury presidential mega suite at the hotel. Seeing this, Jessie was overjoyed because it was the most luxurious hotel room she had ever seen in her life. Her husband had already gone downstairs to meet his friend Nick. Nick handed him an envelope containing passports for their family of 5, as well as plane tickets to Vancouver tomorrow under their new identities, all arranged by Nick. Danny gave Nick a black bag containing $500,000 in return for his trouble. Back in the room, Danny hid a knife in his calf and tucked a gun in his waistband to ensure foolproof safety and preparation. By then, his wife had also come to the door in a red dress. Before leaving, Danny repeatedly urged them to take good care of little brother and not leave the suite no matter what. But they had barely stepped out the door when the 3 kids dismissed their dad's words as if they were nothing. In no time, they went out to let Lucy. Meanwhile, their parents had gone to the restaurant to enjoy a romantic candlelight dinner. After the dinner, they rushed back to find the kids already asleep. Eager Jessie hurried back to the room, set the mood, and played some romantic music. However, just when she thought her husband would get the signal and join her to gain new knowledge, danger suddenly struck. After taking out 2 assassins, Danny immediately ducked down tactically and began searching for other enemies. Unexpectedly, an assassin came out holding his wife hostage. Faced with his wife's dumbfounded expression, Danny put down his gun. Then, when the assassin was unaware, Danny stealthily took out a knife. The assassin said he would first kill Danny, then his wife, and finally his children. But the next second, the assassin dropped dead on the spot. His terrified wife was in no state to let Danny explain. She glanced back at the cooled corpse and immediately vomited. Danny then rushed to the assassin's side to retrieve his gun and phone. His wife went to the children's room only to discover the 3 rascals were not there at all. It was just a decoy. Now his only thought was to retrieve those 3 rascals. Soon they arrived together at the esports arena and discovered the audience was shouting son Kelly's name. Turns out Kelly was a passionate esports gamer and had just single-handedly wiped out a formidable opposing team, resulting in the earlier frenzy. But when the kids wanted to show off to their dad, he completely ignored them. After seeing the 3 children were safe and sound, Danny quickly led them out of the arena, saying they had to leave immediately because his former colleagues wanted to kill them. Son Kelly felt Dad was the most cowardly dad on the planet, so they didn't believe him. But no sooner had Kelly finished speaking when an assassin caught up. Seeing this, Danny hurriedly brought them into the casino hall. He took out his gun and loaded it, then told his wife he would draw the fire while she took the kids and left. Soon, Danny opened the Cadillac door, shifted to neutral, and gave it a hard push. As the car rushed out, the female assassin idiotically unloaded at the windshield. Seizing the timing, Danny raised his gun and fired 2 shots, dropping the female assassin. Danny went up to take her gun, then rushed to regroup with his family. The assassin wearing a bulletproof vest was not dead, but didn't realize Danny had given her a chance to live. Since she wanted to die, Danny could only satisfy her. Seeing this, his son immediately vomited. Afterwards, the family found a hotel to sit down, and Danny told his family about his past. His real name was Sean. His mother passed away when he was 4 years old, and his father was violent. When he turned 18, he enlisted in the military. Due to genetic mutations, he performed exceptionally, joining the Green Berets and Delta Force. Later, a man named McCaffrey recruited him into a special project. It was legal at first, but McCaffrey suddenly became greedy and started contracting them out as mercenaries. When Sean found out, he left. He then met Jessie and they started a family. She finally realized why Danny had always disliked photos, going out, and was so cowardly over the past 18 years. Today, she finally understood. Danny took out 5 passports, saying he had arranged everything, and they would fly to Vancouver tomorrow to start new lives with altered identities. Unexpectedly, his kids were very angry because those were not the lives they wanted. After angrily flinging the passports back at their dad, they turned and left. Jessie also had a huge fight with her husband before furiously storming off. To protect his family's safety, Danny sat outside the whole night, thinking of how to seek his family's forgiveness. But his wife came out hugging the children, determined to leave with them no matter how Danny tried to keep her. Soon they arrived at a small airport, welcomed by none other than Nikki, the boxing gym owner. Jessie was very surprised by Nikki sending a private jet, though they were good friends, it wasn't to this extent. They quickly boarded the plane, and Nikki told Jessie a story. She had been with a man for many years, and they loved each other deeply. But one day, he just mysteriously disappeared. 2 years ago, she met him again by chance, but discovered he had married a woman completely different from her. Jessie was stunned because she knew the woman Nikki mentioned was herself. She wanted to find an excuse to leave with the kids, but it was too late. Soon, the assassin's phone that Danny had taken the day before rang. McCaffrey was blunt. "If you want your wife to live, you'd better come find me quickly, based on the location I sent." Then he hung up. Danny soon drove to the entrance of the now-defunct casino. Shortly after, McCaffrey brought Danny to a room on the top floor. Seeing Nikki, Danny was a bit stunned. Just then, McCaffrey's figure also slowly emerged. It turns out McCaffrey was Sean's father. Though he had wanted to kill Sean countless times, after learning Danny had killed all the assassins he deployed, McCaffrey changed his mind again. He felt the long-lost feeling and was proud of his son Danny, so he hoped Danny would return to work for him, restore past glory together. If Danny refused, he would kill his wife and 3 children. Left without a choice, Danny had to agree. McCaffrey was very happy and immediately arranged to send Danny's family to the airport. However, did you think they would just leave like that? Of course not. Before the elevator, daughter Nina passionately persuaded her mother to subdue the assassin behind them, then go back and save their father. By then, the elevator had reached the top floor. The moment they stepped in, son Kelly frantically spammed buttons. Then things got interesting. The elevator stopped at every floor, while Kelly kept trying to persuade his mom to subdue the assassin in front of them so they could go back and rescue Dad. Just as Kelly finished speaking, Mom smelled a stench. She had forgotten to change the toddler's diaper. So, right in front of the assassin, she took off the soiled diaper. And the moment the elevator doors opened, Jessie finally made her move. Soon they hurried back together. But when they had just reached the door, they saw an unbearable scene. Though it was just Danny's strategy of delayed action. At this time, McCaffrey downstairs suddenly sensed something wrong. He knew the assassin couldn't have not answered his phone. The only possibility was that something had happened to him. After getting the hacker under control, Danny soon saw from the drone footage that the troops had turned back. He then gave the drone control to his son, initiating their time for slaughter. Seeing this, McCaffrey immediately woke Nikki up and told her to deal with Kelly and retrieve the drone. Soon, she confidently and calmly took the elevator up to the top floor. However, the moment the elevator doors opened, Jessie also pulled the trigger. The two women quickly entered into combat. Despite Jessie's years of boxing experience, She was no match for Nikki at all. In no time, Jesse was flung heavily away. Meanwhile, Danny and his son's tacit cooperation had routed McCaffrey's entire team. The family showdown that followed is not pretty, so let's switch the scene to Jesse's side. Although the tossed aside Jessie was disheveled, she was largely unharmed. Seeing the bamboo poles on the ground, she suddenly had an idea. She had to take care of the woman who had slept with her husband for years. But easier said than done. Just when the woman was mocking Jesse from above, a reversal happened. By now, McCaffrey had completely overpowered Danny. However, just as he intended to finish off his wayward son with a shot, the story's finale is that McCaffrey was sent to prison.
Did you like our movie recap? Please subscribe and comment, it really helps. See you next time.